So students, so this here we can start with some more topics are pending for you. So only few bones are there. Okay, from the skull. So this is the frontal bone, and you will be familiar with the frontal bone. So bone of this forehead. Okay. So this is the frontal bone, and this frontal bone you can see it has and the large squamous part. It has a large squamous part, and it has two orbital plates which forms the orbit, and in the middle portion there is a nasal part. Okay. And this large squamous part has an external surface, then it has an internal surface, and it has two temporal surfaces on either side. Okay. Then external surface, you can see the features in the external surface. The external surface, here we can make out there is a superior orbital margin. Superior orbital margin. In the superior orbital margin, we can see a foramen, that is supraorbital foramen. Supraorbital. Then above the superior orbital margin, here we can see a bulgings, arched bulgings. So they are known as superciliary arch. Either side we can see. The superciliary arches corresponds to the frontal sinuses. So below this superciliary arch we can see the frontal sinuses. And the superciliary arch will be more prominent in case of males. Okay. And at the central portion, the meeting point of the two superciliary arch, this point is known as glabella. Glabella. Okay. So here comes the superciliary arch. On either side, this is the glabella. This meeting point is known as glabella. Okay. Then above the superciliary arch, on either side we can see the bulgings of the frontal bone. They are known as frontal eminence. Okay. You can see in our head also on either side. This is frontal eminence. Okay. This portion forms the superior orbital margin, and above this we can see here is the superciliary arch. Okay. Not on the eyebrows. Okay. Above the eyebrows. Plus eyebrows level is actually in this level. Superior orbital margin. Okay. So above that we can see there is a bulging. That is the superciliary arch. Okay. And these are the features. See, in the surface, external surfaces. Okay. Then coming to the anterior posterior portion, the squamous part has a large posterior margin, serratal margin, which articulates with the parietal bone on either side. Parietal bone. Okay. And here we can see this portion. This is the temporal surface. So in the temporal surface we can see there are two temporal lines. This one. So one temporal line is coming and it is dividing into two. It will be dividing into two. I will show you. So it is going like this. So one temporal line will be coming and it is forming two lines. That one is superior temporal line, another is inferior temporal line. Okay, two temporal lines. This is the temporal surface which forms the temporal fossa. Okay. Then these are the features of. Then we can see there is a zygomatic process on this side. Two zygomatic processes which articulates with the zygomatic bone. Okay, zygomatic processes. So these are features in the external surface. In internal surface we can see they are irregular because of the presence of sulci and gyri of the brain. Okay. So they lodges the sulci and gyri of the brain. So it is irregular, not smooth. Okay. And at the central portion we can see there is a crest. This is known as frontal crest. Frontal crest. And while coming backward, this frontal crest will be dividing, splitting into two. Okay. And here we can see there is a depression. This portion, this is the forms the sagittal sinus, sulcus. So this is sagittal sulcus. Okay, so this crest will be coming and diverging into two. Okay, it encloses a depression here. This canal, this is known as sagittal sulcus. Okay, so inside the sagittal sulcus we can see there will be sinuses. Sagittal sinus can be seen. Then, so these are the features of the internal surface. Internal surface. Okay. Then comes the orbital part, nasal part. This is the nasal part. Here we can see it is serrated, not rough. There is a margin, nasal notch. There is a nasal notch which is serrated on either side. Okay, nasal notch. Then at the central portion there is a spine. Nasal spine at the central portion. a nasal spine. So on either side there are nasal notches, and at the center there will be a spine, that is nasal spine. So these are the features of the nasal part. This is the nasal part. And next part is the orbital plate. These are the orbital plate which forms the roof of the orbit. So actually in our body it is seen like this. Okay. So this portion will be forming the roof, upper portion of the like this in our body, they say. Okay. This is the anatomical position actually. So we can see this plate, two plates which forms the roof of the orbit. Okay. Roof of the orbit, orbital plate. And on the lateral side there will be a notch or a depression, that is for the lacrimal gland, lacrimal fossa. This is known as lacrimal fossa, which lodges the lacrimal gland. Okay. And at the central part of this two plate we can see a U-shaped notch, that is known as ethmoid notch. Ethmoid. Okay, ethmoid notch, U-shaped ethmoid notch. So these are the features of the frontal bone. Okay, frontal bone. The next bone is the maxilla. This is maxilla. Okay, we can see it forms the upper jaw, maxilla, like this. Okay, so upper jaw. So maxilla has a body. There is a central, there is a body, and it has four processes. Okay, we can see this is the frontal process of maxilla, and here this is the zygomatic process of maxilla, and we can see this portion, this is the alveolar process of maxilla, and medially there is a palatine process of maxilla. So four processes. So this is frontal process, zygomatic process, then this is alveolar process, and this is the palatine process of maxilla. So this is the central part, that is the body of maxilla. So the body of maxilla has four surfaces. So by keeping in the anatomical position like this is the anatomical position. So while keeping it in the anatomical position, we can see there is an anterior surface for the body, and there is a posterior surface, then there is a superior surface, and a medial surface. So these are the four surfaces of the body of the maxilla. So anterior surface, posterior surface, superior surface, and medial surface. Four surfaces. Then processes, we can see this is the frontal process which articulates with the frontal bone. We already seen the zygomatic process of frontal bone. So this frontal process will be articulating with the frontal bone. Okay. And here this is the zygomatic process which articulates with the zygomatic bone. Okay. And there comes the alveolar process. We can see it bears the tooth, sockets for the tooth. Here we can see. Okay. So it bears the sockets for the teeth. Okay, tooth. Then this is the palatine process, and this palatine process forms the hard palate, part of the hard palate. Okay. These are the four processes. And coming to the body surfaces, this is the anterior surface of the maxilla, while keeping in the anatomical position like this. Okay. And here this is our canine tooth. This is the socket for the canine tooth, and this canine tooth root is very large, so it produces a projection in the maxilla, anterior surface of the maxilla, and this is known as canine eminence. So you can see this is broken here, so usually there will be a bulging here. Okay. So that is known as canine eminence. Okay. In front of the canine eminence we can see there is a depression, that is known as incisive fossa. Okay. Behind the canine eminence there is another depression, that is known as canine fossa. So there is a canine eminence, canine fossa, and incisive fossa. Okay. These are the features seen in the anterior surface. Then posterior surface. So this is the posterior surface. Okay. So in the posterior surface, usually we can see small foramens which helps in passage of the nerves, okay, alveolar nerves and vessels. Small foramens can be seen, and the posterior inferior part of the posterior surface we can see there is a bulging, that is known as maxillary tuberosity. Maxillary tuberosity. Okay, these are the features in the posterior surface. Then coming to the superior surface. So this is the superior surface, or it forms the orbit, forms the floor of the orbit. So it is like this we can see. So it forms the floor of our orbit. Okay, and in this surface we can see there is a canal. This one. This is known as infraorbital canal. So you can make out this This one. This is the infraorbital canal, and we can see this canal, infraorbital groove. This is infraorbital groove, and this infraorbital groove leads into infraorbital canal. So we can see this one. There is a canal. Okay, and this canal will opens into a foramen that is known as infraorbital foramen. This one. So infraorbital foramen can be seen in the anterior surface. I forgot to tell you. So this is the infraorbital foramen. Okay. Then, so there will be a groove, inferior orbital groove, then leads to a canal. Then that canal leads to an infraorbital foramen. See, opening. Okay. So these are the features in the superior surface. It forms the roof of the orbit. Okay. So that is superior surface, and next is the medial surface. This is the medial surface. In the medial surface we can see there is a large opening, that is the opening of our maxillary sinus. Here we can see inside, see, this is the maxillary sinus. Okay. So inside this is the opening of the maxillary sinus, and this opening is known as maxillary hiatus. Maxillary hiatus. Okay, this opening is known as maxillary hiatus. So in the inguinal bone we can see it is large, but in the articulated skull this opening will get reduced by the articulation of 4 bones. Okay. So the towards this portion, superiorly and medially, we can see there will be lacrimal bone. Okay. And anteriorly there will be ethmoid bone. Then inferiorly there will be palatine bone, and behind here there will be articulation of the this one. Inferiorly, posteriorly there is palatine bone, and inferiorly there will be inferior nasal concha. So 4 bones will come and reduce the size of the opening. Okay, and inside that we can see, inside the body of the maxilla we can see the spaces which is filled with air, that is known as maxillary sinus. Okay, maxillary sinus. This is the maxillary sinus. Okay, so this is the opening of the maxillary sinus, that is maxillary hiatus. So these are the features of the maxilla. Okay, maxilla. So the next bone is sphenoid bone. So actually it is a university question for you people. So this is the sphenoid bone. You can see the shape of a sphenoid bone. So it resembles a butterfly. Okay. So sphenoid bone actually is a butterfly shaped bone. Okay. This is sphenoid bone. So it is a butterfly shaped bone, and we can see there are two. There is a central part that is known as body of the sphenoid. This is the body of sphenoid bone. Then on either side we can see 2 wings are there. There are 2 large wings, that is greater wings on either side, and 2 small wings are there, lesser wings. So 4 wings are there. So there is a central part that is called body of the sphenoid, body, then 2 greater wings and 2 lesser wings can be seen. Then coming to the body of the sphenoid, so the sphenoid body has 6 surfaces. There is a superior surface, so this is the anatomical position. And other than the wings, we can see there are 2 pterygod processes. 2 pterygod processes can be seen. So pterygod process is hanging downward. Okay, so this is the this is the anatomical position. So while keeping in the anatomical position, we can see there is a superior surface, then inferior surface, then anterior surface, and there is a posterior surface, and 2 lateral surfaces for the body. So body has a superior surface, inferior surface, anterior surface, posterior surface, then 2 lateral surface on either side. Okay, these are the 6 surfaces of our body. Then greater wing. So this is the superior surface. You can see the superior surface. In the superior surface, actually it contains a opening projection. It is already broken here. So there will be, usually there is a projection or the depression can be seen in the body. That is for the pituitary gland, hypophyseal fossa. Okay. The hypophyseal fossa can be seen usually. It is not here because it is already broken, this bone. Okay, there will be a hypophyseal fossa, and inferior surface. In the inferior surface and the anterior surface, we can see there is a crust, that is sphenoidal crust. We can see this one. anteriorly and inferiorly there is a sphenoidal crest. Okay. Then posterior surface, this posterior surface will articulate with the occipital bone here. Okay. And the two lateral surfaces, they forms the junction between the greater wing and the body. Okay. This one, lateral surfaces. These are the surfaces of the body. Okay. Then you can see inside the body, you can see there is an opening which is filled with the air, that is sphenoidal air sinuses. Okay. Inside the body of the sphenoid, we can see the sphenoidal air sinuses. Inside, you can see the space. Okay. So that is sphenoidal air sinuses. This one. Inside the body of the sphenoid. Okay. And it has two large wings, that is greater wing. So we can see the greater wing also has three surfaces. While keeping it in an anatomical position, there will be a cerebral surface, that is superior surface can be seen, and there is an anterior surface and there is a lateral surface. Okay. And the superior surface or the cerebral surface, we can see some foramens. So we already said, see this one, this foramen, this is foramen rotundum. Foramen rotundum, and here we can see an oval shaped foramen, that is foramen ovale, and behind that we can see a spine, small or rounded opening, that is the foramen spinosum. So three foramens can be seen: foramen rotundum, foramen ovale, and foramen spinosum. So three foramens can be seen here in the cerebral surface of the greater wing. And this anterior surface or this portion, this anterior surface, this forms the orbit, the part of the orbit. It forms the lateral part of the orbit, okay, where we can see our eyes. Okay. So it forms the posterolateral part of the orbit, this surface. Okay. And there is a lateral surface. Here we can see this one. So this lateral surface can be seen in the outside portion of our skull. Okay. At the central part there is a crest that is known as infratemporal crest. Central part of the lateral surface. Okay. So there is a crest that is known as infratemporal crest. Okay. These are the features of the lateral surface. So these are the features of the lateral surface. And the lateral surface, we can see it while it is going backward, the terminal portion of the lateral surface, there is a spine that is known as spine of sphenoid. This is the spine of sphenoid. Okay, so at the lower portion or posterior portion of the lateral surface, there is a spine that is known as spine of the sphenoid. Okay, spine of sphenoid. Then these are the features of the greater wing. Okay. Then comes the lesser wing. Here these two portions, actually the lesser wing already broken here. These are the lesser wing. Two small wings can be seen. This lesser wing has two roots actually. So there will be two roots, and between the two roots there will be an opening of foramen can be seen. Okay, between the two roots. And this is the lesser wing. Okay, lesser wing. Then comes the pterygoid process. This is the pterygoid process of the sphenoid bone, and this you can see it is attached at the junction between the body of and greater wing. So it is attached between the greater wing and the body of the sphenoid. This is the pterygoid process. And pterygoid process, while coming posteriorly, we can see it is dividing into two plates. Two thin plates can be seen. So medially there is a medial pterygoid plate, and laterally there is lateral pterygoid plate. Okay. This is the medial pterygoid plate, and you can see the medial pterygoid plate, the lower portion, posteriorly, this posterior margin of the medial pterygoid plate, there is a hook-like projections can be seen. This one. So this hook-like projection of the medial pterygoid plate is known as pterygoid hamulus. This is the pterygoid hamulus. And we can see anteriorly these two plates are joined together. Anteriorly these two plates are joined together, and there is no separate medial and lateral pterygoid plate. Only posterior portion we can see it becomes two plates, and inside the two plate there is a fossa that is known as pterygoid fossa. Pterygoid fossa. Okay. So this is lateral pterygoid plate, this is medial pterygoid plate. So these are the features of the sphenoid bone. So this is a repeated university question. You have to make note on this. Okay. Sphenoid, butterfly shaped bone.